Toet, your TV host for Your Hidden Love Story. I want you to keep your mindset on the higher vibrational mindset so you can keep living your life and going on this beautiful journey you got. I can't live here without you. We need all of you. You're all here. You have all a special reason, a special purpose, and nobody can do it just like you. This is Cynthia Toet, your TV host for Your Hidden Love Story. We're on episode 2064. Yep, 2064 it is. Strengthening your inner voice. Trust in what you already know. The main reason why I go live on this show is I do believe we have all been misled and misguided by our emotional self. And what do I mean by that is our emotions are operating from a lower vibration as a go-to vibration. That we're operating from fear, doubt, insecurity, not whole enough, not complete enough, feeling like we got to prove ourselves out there to the world or to someone else, which is actually lowering your vibration. My goal here is to flip your emotional story around to a higher vibration so your go-to vibration becomes one out of love and above, laughter, play, joy, happiness, peace, and harmony. Come on, baby, let's get and passion and desire. Come on, baby, let's get this show rolling and let's get your life going. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hope you guys are all having an awesome, amazing, wonderful day and had a wonderful 4th of July if you're listening to this live. And so your inner voice is your emotional compass, but how often do we actually trust in it is the question. In this episode of Your Hidden Love Story, we're learning how to strengthen the quiet voice inside, the one that already knows your truth. Even when fear tries to shout out to be even louder, we are going to explore how to recognize the difference between fear and intuition, how self-doubt weakens your emotional energy, and how to rebuild trust in your inner guidance, one loving choice at a time. When you listen with love and respond with trust, your entire life story starts to shift around to something better. It is time to tune out that noise that's going on in the background, that background noise in your head, and tune into the truth, the one that allows you to feel peace and calmness and joy and happiness on the inside. Bring your intuition home, because your intuition has always been guiding you back to home. We were actually born to be intuitive. Yes, we are. We were actually born to be intuitive. Intuitiveness is not a gift for the lucky. It is actually part of your design. It's, you were born to be intuitive, but we've been taught to override it with logic, with fear, with approval, or approval, approval seeking from others or someone else. Again, we have been taught that. We've been taught through the social media, through the news, through our life's upbringing to operate in fear. Be afraid of your next move. Be afraid of what it is you're going to do. Be afraid of everything. Or be afraid that you can't be successful. Be afraid of yourself, which is crazy. And we've been taught to be operating from lack, that you're not good enough, you'll never make it there, only very few are very lucky and successful. Those are stories, those are background noise stories that we need to override them. But we've been taught for generations that we're not worthy enough, we're not whole enough, we're not complete enough, and how hard life is. We're not taught about how to continue on moving forward, and how to bring yourself back home to the present moment, and how to enjoy the now, how to be grateful and thankful and appreciative for what we have at this very moment. We're not taught that, but that's what we need to do, is bring ourselves back home. What is it that we really need? Is not out there somewhere. It actually starts in here. This is where we find our wholeness. This is where we find our completeness. This is where we find ourselves, is here inside of our body, inside of our soul, inside of our temple. So when those negative non-slayer Nancy negative non-slayer, something like that, start to come into your mind, remember that is what's taking your gifts away. That's what's taking your power away. That's what's taking your momentum away. So when they come into your mind, catch it as fast as you can and flip it around, run the other way, go, oh, I know where you're going to take me. You're going to take me to Mr. Nowhere land, and I want to go into my land. I want to be operating with peace and harmony, with passion and desire. And I'm going to trust that I am going in the right direction. You guys, ask yourself, when did you actually stop trusting in yourself? I bet you it was when you were younger, when you were a child, at some time or another. Take a peek, take a look, see when that time actually started for you. The inner voice versus the emotional noise. The inner voice is calm, it's clear, it's compassion. The emotional noise is reactive, panicking, and people pleasing. So when we are starting to get upset from a reaction, or anger or frustrated because something that's going on around us, that's the emotional self. That's energy. We can take charge of that emotional self by changing the narrative of the story that came in at the moment, that anger, frustration, or hatred, or whatever, that lower vibrational energy that came in. Take note when that cloud is coming over you, trying to embrace you. Take note when that's happening, so you can go, no, you don't. This is my body. This is my soul. I choose to stay at peace and in harmony, and be compassionate with myself. I choose me. I'm going to allow these other emotions that come into me that try to throw me out of alignment or out of balance. I'm going to allow them to go through me and disintegrate. And that's not even the word I wanted to say, but I can't get the other one to come rolling out of my tongue. So there we go. So we can actually teach ourselves the difference in the frequencies. One is a contract, and the other one expands us. Contracts, the contractions, when we're operating from fear. I don't know, I'm not worthy enough, I don't know if I'm good enough, the family's never done this, how can I possibly do that? That's all energy that's contracting you. But you want to work in the energy that expands you. I'm going to give it a try. I trust in myself. I'm going to take one baby step at a time, going forward to something that I believe in. That's the difference between the voice and the emotional noise. Daily habits that build inner trust. Keeping small promises to yourself. Speaking to yourself with gentleness. Honoring your gut instincts, even when others disagree with you. Yeah, keeping small promises to yourself, like, the small promises of, when you wake up in the morning, that you're going to spend the first 5 minutes on, how do I I love who I am. I'm loving my person. I'm loving my soul. I'm loving my body. I'm loving everything about me. I'm loving the fact that I'm here living this life and I get another day to take those baby steps and going forward. I love that I'm taking initiative into my next step and trusting and believing in myself. It is the words that we're speaking that we really need to be extremely careful with when we're speaking our story, when we're trying to build ourselves up. Speaking to yourself with gentleness, instead of looking in the mirror and saying, oh, I don't like this and I don't like that. Oh my goodness, check this out. Instead of doing it that way, when you look in the mirror, oh, look, my hair needs a little brushing, that's okay. Oh, I'm just gonna, my face needs a little TLC and I'm gonna give it to it. It is the voice that we're speaking in the background that makes a big difference in your life. So, and when your gut instinct starts coming in, like starts crunching up and starts giving you that sign, trust in that, when even if others disagree that that's the reaction or response, like maybe one day you had this ucky gut feeling about something when you were in a certain room with a certain person and then you left that room and it went away. Then you can trust in your gut that something in that room, whether it's a person, place, or thing, something in that room was making you feel uncomfortable. I want you guys to trust in that, because that's a part of your intuition that's trying to speak to you in the present moment. Your story shifts when you trust in yourself. That is so true. Your story does shift when you start trusting in when you're trusting in you. It's not about you trusting in everybody else. What are they saying? What are they doing? Or my mom knows best, my dad knows best, my boss knows best. Start trusting in yourself. You know best for you. What may be right for someone else may not be right for you, and you have to pay attention. Is that story, is that narrative, is that place, is that thing, is that right for you? And if it's not, it's okay to disagree. People do start treating you the way that you treat yourself. So the higher that you treat yourself, when you start treating yourself with respect, other people will start treating you with respect. When you start treating yourself with love, you will see the universe starts treating you with love. So it's really important for us to pay attention to what's going on with that background noise in your head, those Nancy non-slayers. Yeah, we got to pay close attention to them so we can flip that story around to a higher one. Because life reflects your inner truth, not your own outer performance. It knows how you feel on the inside, and that's how life is going to reflect it back at you. So continue on shifting your intuition, shifting your energy into your own intuition, not about other people, but about yourself. Listen with love. For like a closing affirmation for this part of the show is, I listen with love. I trust my inner truth. My voice is my power. Trust in that. You guys, I did write a book. It's called Flipping Your Emotional Story Around to Better. It is over there on Amazon as an e-copy and a hard copy. Go over there and check it out. And in just a moment, I'm going to send you, right now, not just a moment, but right now, I'm going to send you over there to see where my book, what it looks like, and where it's at. I'll be right back, so stick around. And it's commercial break time. And what's she going to talk about on her commercial? Yeah, what's she going to talk about? She's going to talk about, did you know that Cynthia Toet, she's an author. She wrote a book this year called Flipping Your Emotional Story Around to Better. Yes, that's the book that she wrote, and it is on Amazon. It is an ebook and a hard copy, whichever you prefer. Go over there right now and grab your copy right now to see what it's going to take to flip your emotional story around to better. Okay, back to the show now. And for the next part of the show, I'm going to be doing a reading that ties into strengthening your inner voice and trusting what you already know, trusting in yourself. And the theme of it is you already know, trust. You already know, so trust in knowing. And then I have 3 questions I'm going to ask, and for each question I'm going to lay down 3 cards per question. The first question is, what truth have you been ignoring? The second one, what does your intuition want you to honor? And the third one, what opens up when you start to trust in your inner voice? So I'm going to give you some divine messages. All right, some divine messages coming on in for you guys. Let's get those cards out, which, yeah, they're right here. You already know, trust that you're knowing. Okay, the first question is, what truth have you been ignoring within? What truth have we all been ignoring within? Those ones that are watching the show, we're going to lay out 3 cards. What truth have you guys been ignoring within? You know, when we're operating from that lower vibration, fear, doubt, and insecurity, what happens is you ignore your light. You ignore your bright ideas. You may have some really good, passionate ideas that are really neat and really bright, and you may be ignoring them because you're operating from that lower vibrational story, that one of doubt. And you've also been ignoring your intuition. So this is the first card. You're ignoring these bright ideas that come to you, bright ideas that come from passion and desire. But you also ignore your intuition, your higher self, because your higher self knows the truth. But because we have been so trained and programmed to be operating from a lower vibrational energy, that's fear, doubt, and insecurity, it makes it so we can't even be tapped in and tuned into our own intuition. So yeah, it's a blockage. So, and it makes it so we ignore those higher selves. Also, your truth has been ignoring your Two of Cups, your soulmate connection, and maybe because you're not listening to your intuitive self. When you know maybe there's someone or something out there that you're really, oh my goodness, this is happening, this is going on. But when it's going on and you feel that intensity for another person, soul, place, or thing, even if they're not in your energy, the next thing you do is you go into doubt because of the fact that, you know, they're, oh, well, it's not here. You know, I've been dreaming this story way too long. But I want you guys to truly trust in yourself, especially when it comes to that soulmate connection, that twin flame connection, that counterpart connection. Even if you guys don't ever come together in this lifetime, I want you to trust in that. You guys are connected at a soul level for some reason or another. Okay, the second question is, what does your intuition want you to honor? I'm going to pull 3 cards out. What does your intuition want you to honor? Let's find out. I want to know. I'm just as curious as you guys. It wants you to honor your emotional self, to balance out that emotional self so you can go through this spiritual awakening. It wants you to listen to that truth that's going on within. Yes, it wants you to balance out your emotional self. Okay? Balance, balance, baby. Balance the emotions within so you can be operating with peace and harmony and calmness. And what does your intuition want you to honor? What else? What else? Yeah, it does, and it does take time. You know, we're all different people. It takes time for us to put ourselves together. We're all unique, and it's just like that cubic cube. That, you know, there's a certain way that we got to put that cubic cube together. There's a certain way that you need to be able to put your emotional life back together too. So your intuition wants you to honor that it does take time. So be patient with yourself. And one more. honor your strength, honor your roar. You know, you guys are actually much stronger than you give yourself credit for. When we're operating from the lower vibration, we actually weaken ourselves, that we take our strength away. But it wants you to honor your strength, honor with roar, keep pushing forward towards your higher self. Continue on weighing out your emotional self and balancing it. and giving yourself that permission and of the time. It takes time, you know. Be patient with yourself and start trusting in your intuition more. Let's see. And the last question is, what opens up when you trust in your inner voice? What does open up when you trust in that inner voice? I want to know. I want to know. What do you got? Oh, what about you guys? You want to know? Well, we're going to find out what opens up when you trust in your inner voice. A brand new beginning, a brand new start. You know, we're trusting in divine, we're trusting in that next step. Even if we can't see that next step, it just all of a sudden you start taking those baby steps, because now you're trusting in your inner voice. Your inner voice says, go ahead, give it a try. And you're going, okay, I will. Again, you're trusting in divine, you're trusting in the process, you're trusting in your life purpose, you're trusting in your higher self. Yeah, divine is leading and guiding you, trusting in what else? Trusting in your inner voice. Trusting in your passion. Trusting in your desire, so you can be strong and go towards what it is that you want. Remember to trust in your higher self, the part of you that lifts you up, the part of you that brings your vibration into this higher momentum, this one that gives you momentum, the one that gives you gas to get going in that next direction. Again, just take those baby steps, you guys, because when we take those baby steps, it gives us a strong foundation. It roots us, it grounds us, and it allows us to see the light, and it allows us to grow to be the best version of ourselves too. Next, I have the card Love Your Inner Goddess here, and we're going to and I pulled the card of I didn't realize that was a card I pulled. Okay, well, let's see. Shaman of Skulls is the one that's here. Let's see what it says. In your heart, you have been asking for something different, something more. The universe is answering something more, and the universe is answering your prayers. You do not need to be afraid of change. You do not need to be afraid of changes happening, or that they are going to happen for you. They are a part of that answer from the universe. You might feel uncertain because you cannot see how it is going to work out for you, but you know that the universe is caring for you and will provide a way to move through a transition with grace. You are not crazy to willingly enter into this experience. There is nothing that you need to avoid, and so much that you will gain. The spiritual guidance, that fan's blowing my hair in my nose. Hold on, you guys. In the spiritual guidance, something is ending. Something that has meant a lot to you. Maybe it is a relationship, maybe it's a phase of your life, or maybe an identity that no longer suits you. Maybe it is an inner ending that you cannot quite articulate, but you feel it nevertheless. This is a symbolic death with a greater purpose. The shaman is spiritually trained to overcome the fear of symbolic death and instead of avoiding changes, to willingly go through them with the awareness that an ending is simply the other side of a beginning. The shaman learns that ending happens when something new wishes to be born. The shaman knows that this is ultimately for good and has compassion for the human mind that has still feel very uncomfortable, and resist the one that makes you feel uncomfortable and resist the process. So even while we may accept the change, even with gratitude, our minds might feel uncertain and afraid because we've been trained and programmed to operate from fear. But again, we're here to flip that emotional story around to better. We might feel confused or try to cling on to what is ending. This is a natural human response to loss, especially when we sense that loss is irreversible and that life will never be quite the same again. Be patient with yourself, be kind, but also know that new life is happening for you now according to a higher purpose and loving plan. Your life is meant to change at this time. Be encouraged from the ashes of the symbolic death, and you shall raise again. And then it has a little assignment here at the end. It says, place your hands lightly on either side of your head and say aloud, this sacred skull holds the light of wisdom, shining unconditional divine love in all directions now. Use your fingers to gently massage your head all over, including under your jaw and behind your ears, allowing your head to feel relaxed. That's what I have for the show today. Thank you for coming and watching Your Hidden Love Story, episode 2064, Strengthen Your Voice by Trusting What You Already Know. All right, for you guys that are here that don't know that I've split the shows up in half, but this is Your Hidden Love Story. And next is coming for the messages, revealing your hidden love story, which will be coming on next in about 15 minutes after this premiere shows live. So I'll see you soon, and if you're watching the replay, then it's just 2 separate shows. If you want to see the other part of the show, revealing your hidden love story, go over there and watch it. At least watch the collective reading, because it's always really good, and it taps in and tunes in to what's going on with you in this present moment. All right, I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Thanks for stopping in and being a part of the show. Bye bye, butterflies. Catch.